From that time when Rebecca Jones took her own life, to when Benny Severide had a stroke, the NBC drama sure has a way of hitting us right in the feels. These are all times that Chicago Fire got us seriously sad. Remember that episode called A Coffin So Small? In one of the episodes of Season 1, things got pretty emotional within just 5 minutes. There was a little boy who was playing with his brother and fell into a laundry chute. He got stuck inside, and despite efforts to save him, he didn't survive his injuries. It was truly heartbreaking. To make things even sadder, the boy's mother came to the firehouse with a photo of her son dressed up as a firefighter. It turned out that being a firefighter was his dream when he grew up. By the end of the episode, it was impossible not to be moved. The whole of Firehouse 51 stood outside to pay their respects to the little boy. I bet there wasn't a dry eye in sight. Something about a child dying that's just so unnatural. Although an adult dying is just as sad, if not more. There was a tragic ending to the love story of Hallie and Casey. Before Gabby and Casey became a couple in the show, there was another character named Hallie who was Casey's girlfriend. Even though Hallie was only in the show for 1 season, her death was really hard to watch. God, that episode was really tough to watch. Casey was absolutely heartbroken when Hallie passed away, and the pain he felt was so palpable. You could really see it in his eyes as he begged her to breathe, and his whole body just broke down when the worst was confirmed by the doctor. When Mills walked up to them, Casey just held on to him while the rest of the team stood there, completely devastated. It was a really emotional scene, and it definitely didn't leave me for a while. If you're anything like me, it's impossible to get through that episode without shedding a tear or two. As the investigation into Hallie's death continued, it was revealed that she was actually murdered. She had witnessed a drug operation taking place at the clinic where she worked. The fire that took place was meant to cover up the evidence, but fortunately, Matt was able to find her before her body was badly burned. It was such a sad revelation to learn that Hallie was killed because of what she saw. It added another layer of tragedy to her already heart-wrenching death. There was another character who really broke my heart. Benny Severide wasn't a regular character on the show, but he quickly became an important part of the storyline. So when it was announced that he had suffered a stroke, it came as a shock to both Kelly and the show's fans. Unfortunately, Benny passed away before Kelly could make it to the hospital to see him. During a conversation with Bowden, Kelly revealed that the last words he said to his father were that Bowden was a better father than he was. Bowden then told Kelly that Benny had helped get the commissioner to back off the firehouse, which left Kelly feeling devastated. Seeing Kelly break down over his guilt and grief was truly heart-wrenching. It was clear just how much he loved his father and how much pain he was feeling in that moment. The death of Benny Severide was a real blow to the show. Kelly also faced another personal loss. Anna's death on Chicago Fire was a real heartbreaker for fans, mostly because of her relationship with Kelly Severide. Kelly had always been known as the playboy firefighter, but he finally gave his heart to Anna, who he believed was given a second chance at life. Sadly, her health issues returned, and it became clear that her time was running out. Kelly stayed by Anna's side until the very end, but her passing left him completely devastated. It was a classic tale of boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy finds girl again, but ultimately loses her forever. The scene where Anna passes away was incredibly difficult to watch. She said all the right things, but in the end, even the man who saves people for a living couldn't save the person he loved the most. That's definitely gotta hurt. But one of the biggest heartbreaks of the entire show came in the first episode of Season 8. After the dramatic events of Season 7's finale, crews discovered Otis badly injured in the aftermath. Despite being rushed to med, Otis sadly passed away, leaving fans devastated. In a heartbreaking moment, Otis said something to Joe in Russian before he passed, leaving us wondering what he had said. The episode ended with Bowden revealing a memorial dedicated to Cruz and translating his final words to Cruz: "Brother, I will be with you always." When Cruz broke down in front of the memorial and the rest of the team knelt with him, it was definitely a difficult watch. And you know what else was difficult? when Matt and Gabby had to say goodbye to baby Louie. The couple's journey to becoming parents wasn't an easy one, but when they met Louie, they knew they had found their son. They were willing to do anything to keep him in their family, even when his biological father came into the picture. But in the end, they made the difficult decision to let him go and be with his biological family. They knew it was the right thing to do for everyone involved, especially for Louie. I feel like the incident eventually led to their falling apart. Not being able to have a child was the one big problem in their marriage. Gabby wanted a biological child of their own, and Matt was against it because of the risk it put her in. After losing the baby, Gabby struggled with the loss and was unable to move past it. Eventually, she decided to leave Chicago and start a new life in Puerto Rico, leaving Matt with the hope that his wife might return someday. Another episode on the show really shook me. You know, Christopher Herman is such an important character on Chicago Fire. I mean, he's been there for everyone in the One Chicago universe, providing guidance, advice, and a shoulder to cry on. That's why when Freddie stabbed him in Season 4, I was just terrified of losing him. It was a tough watch to see him suffer so many complications after being rushed to med. He went into hypovolemic shock and even had to go into surgery to try and stop the bleeding. Fans were really worried that his Firehouse family was going to lose him. And to make matters worse, that heartfelt moment between him and Cruz was just too much. So glad he survived, though. But the ending to Rebecca Jones's character addressed some serious issues. She took her own life. Growing up, she wanted nothing more than to be a firefighter, just like her father and her brother. But to her father, there was no way he would let that happen. She did end up becoming a firefighter, only after fighting for it her whole life, only to be defeated. By the time she started fitting in at House 51, her father was making things difficult. He threatened Matt and Chief Bowden with their jobs. Basically, he told them to assign her to a desk job, which Bowden refused to do. But by then it was too late. The damage had been done. Rebecca went home to write a note to Gabby, and then ended her life. Those were just some of the instances when the drama got really serious.